The annual Thompson family reunion was in full swing at my aunt's mansion. Crystal glasses clinked, designer heels clicked on marble floors, and the air was thick with the familiar scent of privilege and judgment. I sat quietly in my simple black dress, sipping champagne and watching my relatives parade their success like peacocks. "Anna, darling." My Aunt Victoria's voice dripped with false sympathy. "Still doing that consulting work?" Before I could answer, my cousin Sophia jumped in, her diamond bracelet catching the light as she gestured dismissively. "Can you believe it? 10 years after graduation and she's still just a nobody consultant." I took another sip of champagne, thinking about the contracts sitting on my desk at Phoenix Consulting Group's headquarters. Tomorrow's merger would be the biggest in the industry's history, but they didn't need to know that. "Not yet. At least she's employed," Uncle Richard chimed in with his booming voice. "Though God knows what kind of consulting she actually does. Probably helping small businesses with their Facebook pages or something." The family erupted in polite laughter. I noticed my mother in the corner trying to become invisible. She'd never forgiven me for turning down the VP position at Thompson Industries, the family company. "How's the big merger going?" I asked innocently, watching Sophia and Uncle Richard exchange smug looks. "Oh, you've heard about that?" Sophia preened. "Daddy's been working on it for months. Tomorrow we sign with Phoenix Consulting Group. It's going to revolutionize Thompson Industries. Biggest deal in our company's history," Uncle Richard boasted. "Though the CEO of Phoenix is quite mysterious. Nobody seems to know much about them." I smiled into my glass. "How interesting." Speaking of success, my aunt cut in. "Did you hear about Marcus? Just made senior executive at Thompson. Following in his father's footsteps, unlike some people." Yes, cousin Marcus. Currently sweating over the due diligence reports my team had demanded last week. If only they knew. "And Isabella," Sophia continued, naming another cousin, "just got promoted to head of operations. We're all executives now while poor Anna is still, what do you call yourself? A business consultant." "Something like that," I replied mildly. My phone buzzed. A message from my CFO about tomorrow's merger. I excused myself to take the call, walking out to the garden where fairy lights twinkled in the evening air. "Yes, everything's prepared for tomorrow," I spoke quietly. "Have the papers ready by 9 a.m. And James, make sure the conference room has a good view. I want them to see exactly who they're dealing with." When I returned, the family had moved on to their favorite topic, comparing everyone's net worth. Uncle Richard was in rare form, bragging about Thompson Industries' market value. 20 billion market cap, he announced proudly. Soon to be 30 after tomorrow's merger. That's what real success looks like. My mother finally spoke up, her voice small. "Anna does well enough." "Well enough." Aunt Victoria laughed. "Patricia, darling, when will you accept that your daughter chose the wrong path? She could have been somebody at Thompson Industries." I checked my watch, 18 hours until the merger meeting. 18 hours until they learned that Phoenix Consulting Group, the mysterious company they were so eager to merge with, was mine. That their precious family company's future rested in the hands of the cousin they dismissed as a nobody. "More champagne, Anna?" Sophia offered condescendingly. "You should enjoy it. I doubt you get to drink anything this expensive in your line of work." I accepted the glass, thinking about my private wine cellar with its collection worth more than her annual salary. "Thank you, Sophia. You're right, this is quite special." As the evening wore on, the jabs continued. Each barb about my career, each dismissive comment about consulting work, each pitying look from my relatives. I stored them all away. Tomorrow they would make the moment so much sweeter. "Don't forget the contract signing tomorrow, Daddy," Sophia called out as the party wound down. 10 a.m. sharp, Phoenix Consulting Group's headquarters. "As if I could forget," Uncle Richard replied. "Though I wish we knew more about this CEO we're dealing with. Very private person apparently." "Very private," I agreed, gathering my things. "Good luck tomorrow. I have a feeling it's going to be quite a memorable meeting." The next morning I arrived at Phoenix Consulting Group's headquarters at 7 a.m. The 60-story glass building gleamed in the morning sun, my company's logo prominent against the sky. In my office on the top floor, I changed from my casual clothes into an Armani power suit, checking my reflection in the floor-to-ceiling windows. "Miss Thompson," My executive assistant Michael entered with a stack of papers. The Thompson Industries delegation will arrive in 2 hours. Your team is ready for the briefing. Perfect. I adjusted my CO pin, the one I'd never worn to family functions. Any word from Uncle Richard? He's been calling all morning trying to get information about the CEO he's meeting. Michael smirked. Apparently he's quite frustrated that nobody will tell him anything. I laughed, remembering Uncle Richard's boast from last night. 20 billion market cap? Phoenix Consulting Group was worth 3 times that, though we kept our true value carefully hidden from public records. At 8:30 I gathered my executive team in the briefing room. These were the people who'd helped me build Phoenix from scratch, brilliant minds I'd recruited while my family thought I was plain consultant. Ladies and gentlemen, I addressed them, today's going to be interesting. The Thompson Industries team doesn't know I'm their mysterious CEO. I want everything perfect when they arrive. Even the part where your uncle tried to lowball us on the initial offer? My CFO James asked with a grin. Especially that part. I smiled, remembering Uncle Richard's first insultingly low proposal. Have the real numbers ready. At 9:45, my security team alerted me that the Thompson delegation had arrived in the lobby. I watched through the security feed as Uncle Richard strutted in, followed by Sophia, Marcus, and several board members. Look at this place, Sophia's voice came through clearly. Who would have thought a consulting firm could afford this? The CEO must be loaded, Marcus added. Did you know they own the entire building? Just remember, Uncle Richard cautioned, we need this merger. Play nice. I switched off the feed and turned to my team. Places, everyone. Let's give them a proper Phoenix welcome. The Thompson delegation was first led to our showcase room, where screens displayed Phoenix's global reach, offices in 40 countries, over 10,000 employees, and a client list that included half of the Fortune 500. Through the hidden cameras, I watched their faces as they took in the scope of what they were dealing with. Uncle Richard's confident smirk had slipped slightly. Sophia was frantically Googling on her phone, trying to find information about Phoenix's mysterious leader. At 9:59, Michael led them to the main conference room. The space had been carefully designed to intimidate, floor-to-ceiling windows offering a panoramic city view, a massive table of African blackwood and state-of-the-art technology everywhere. The CEO will join you shortly, Michael informed them, hiding his smile well. I watched through the one-way glass as they settled in. Uncle Richard at the head of the table, my usual spot. How fitting. This is bigger than we thought, I heard Marcus whisper. Their quarterly reports are incredible. Just a consulting firm, Uncle Richard dismissed, but his voice lacked conviction. Though I admit I'm curious about this CEO nobody seems to know. Sophia was still on her phone. There's nothing online. Just that they founded the company 10 years ago and built it from nothing. No photos, no interviews, nothing. I checked my appearance one final time. The woman in the mirror bore little resemblance to the nobody consultant from last night's reunion. This was the CEO who'd built a global empire while her family wasn't watching. It's time, I told Michael. He nodded and entered the conference room. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the CEO of Phoenix Consulting Group. I squared my shoulders and reached for the door handle. Time to show my family exactly who they'd been mocking all these years. I pushed open the double doors and strode into the conference room, my heels clicking purposefully on the marble floor. The look on my family's faces was better than any multi-billion-dollar deal I'd ever closed. Uncle Richard's mouth fell open. Sophia's phone clattered onto the table. Marcus, half risen from his chair, slowly sank back down as if his legs had given out. Good morning, I said calmly, taking my place at the head of the table. Please sit down, Uncle Richard. That's my chair you're in. Anna? He stammered, scrambling to move. You're the CEO of Phoenix Consulting Group? The mysterious executive you've been trying to research? The person holding your company's future in their hands? I smiled. Yes to all of the above. Sophia had gone pale, her designer outfit suddenly looking cheap compared to my bespoke suit. But last night, you said. I said I was a consultant, I corrected her. I just didn't mention that I own the consulting firm. The world's largest, by the way. My executive team filed in, taking their places around the table. Each of them had witnessed my family's condescension at one point or another. Today was their victory too. Now, I opened the merger documents. Shall we discuss the real terms of this deal? Real terms. Uncle Richard found his voice. We already agreed. No, I cut him off. You agreed with my team on preliminary terms. But after last night's enlightening family reunion, I've made some adjustments. I nodded to James, who distributed new contracts. The numbers on them made Marcus choke on his water. This is highway robbery. Uncle Richard exploded, his face turning red. Actually, I leaned forward. It's fair market value. You see, unlike you, I know exactly what Thompson Industries is worth. Including the parts you've been trying to hide from potential buyers. Sophia flipped through the pages frantically. The pension fund shortage. The overseas accounts. Did you really think my team wouldn't find everything during due diligence? I asked quietly. I know about the shell companies, the inflated assets, everything. The room fell silent except for the sound of shuffling papers and sharp intakes of breath as my relatives realized just how thoroughly I'd investigated their company. You've been planning this, Marcus accused. All these years. Planning? Building an empire that could buy yours 10 times over? Yes. I stood up, walking to the window. For 10 years, you've mocked my career choices, dismissed my achievements, and treated me like a failure. All while I was creating something bigger than Thompson Industries could ever dream of being. I turned back to face them. Would you like to know what Phoenix's real market cap is? The number we keep private. Uncle Richard nodded weakly. 65 billion, I said softly. More than triple your company's value. That champagne you so graciously offered me last night? I own the company that makes it. That mansion where we had the reunion? It's built on land I bought last year. Sophia looked like she might faint. All those times we invited you to family events. You were unknowingly hosting your biggest competitor, I finished for her. Ironic, isn't it? I returned to my seat, enjoying the weight of my family's stares. Now you have two choices. Sign the revised merger agreement, which gives Phoenix controlling interest in Thompson Industries, or walk away. But remember, your company's stock price will plummet once the market learns you've lost this deal. Uncle Richard looked broken, his earlier arrogance shattered. You're not giving us a choice. Actually, I'm giving you the same choice you gave me 10 years ago when I turned down that VP position. Accept reality or face the consequences. I slid the contracts across the table. You have 10 minutes to decide. Oh, and Sophia, I added sweetly, that nobody consultant you mentioned last night? She now owns your parking spot in the executive garage. The next 10 minutes passed in tense silence. Finally, Uncle Richard picked up the pen. You've won, he said quietly. No, Uncle Richard. I won years ago. You're just finally realizing it. After they signed, my security team escorted them out. Through the lobby cameras, I watched them leave, their shoulders slumped, their world turned upside down. My phone buzzed. A message from my mother. Is it true? Did you really build all this? I typed back, yes. And next family reunion will be at my house. I think it's time to show them what a nobody consultant can really do. Standing at my window watching the city that now partly belonged to me, I smiled. Success doesn't need anyone's permission to grow. Sometimes it just needs to be nurtured in silence, hidden from those who would doubt it, until it's too big to be ignored. Michael, I called to my assistant, send a case of that champagne from last night to my family. And make sure the receipt is included. After all, they should know exactly how expensive the taste of humble pie can be.